Hello to everyone, that is another video about a watermelon, the plant that we rarely grow in Belarus. I share with you all the experiments that I conduct with this plant so that to grow it in cold and wet climate. This summer was unusually wet and the nights were cold, so I'm pretty excited to share my results. But before I reveal the weight of the heaviest watermelon, let's remember what I have done so that to grow it. As usual, in April, I grafted my watermelons on lagunaria and pumpkin rootstocks. For me, that's an amazing period to see them grow together. Grafting is something that I call a marvel. I prepared 2 patches of land for them, a regular one and an experimental one. The experimental patch was planting the watermelon on the compost pile. I planted 3 of them there. And another method is a regular one, planting the watermelons on a bed with a plastic cover that generates warmth. And looking further ahead, I have to mention that half of the watermelons were destroyed by a mole and only some of them were left. During July, I had only 4 formed fruits and it was due to constant downpours. Today is the 1st of August and I'm picking my first watermelon. I actually planted this variety mostly as a decorative element because I liked the fact that it has a yellow peel, but it turned out that it's rather heavy. It's a grafted watermelon, and right now I have only 2 watermelons. That is the first one, and I'm really interested in the color that it has inside. You have to know that July was very wet and cloudy, and I'm still not sure whether it's going to be red, but I'm willing to check it and I'm going to weigh it right now. I underestimated the watermelon, so it weighs 3 kg, and I didn't expect that. I was totally disappointed to find out that it wasn't completely red inside. By the way, the second yellow watermelon was 5 kg, and it wasn't red at all. At the end of July and in the first half of August, I learned about hand pollination, and I started doing it with my watermelons, and the results really impressed me. Right now, I have 7 small watermelons. I know that it's really late for them to grow and get ripe, but I'm glad that I'm learned it anyway. What I learn now, I always use in the future. Also, the compost pile wasn't a good option since there were plenty of weeds all the time. The plants were on the wet soil all the time and they started rotting. But the heaviest watermelon appeared earlier and I managed to get all the juices from the plant grown on the compost pile. When I pick up a watermelon, I always dress in red, and today I'm going to pick up the biggest watermelon on my patch, and actually I'm a little bit nervous and afraid because like the previous 2 watermelons that I picked were not ripe, and the problem is that July was a totally wet month, and as a result it's really hard to tell whether the watermelon is ready or not. I have to say that 120 days have passed since we have planted this watermelon, and it is the earliest one, and obviously when I look at the signs of its ripeness I can tell that it's ripe, but it's going to be really big and I still don't know about the weight of it, and I don't even know what I'm more anxious about the weight or about the fact whether it's ripe or not. So in any case, let's try and first of all cut it, because I have never tried to lift it fully, so I hope that I will manage to do that. Okay. And also I was a little bit worried about this watermelon since it was laying on the ground and the soil is always wet because of the rains. Okay. Yeah, it's really heavy. So I have cleaned it and right now we're going to weigh it, which is obviously the most exciting thing. So the scales are ready, the knife is ready. And so the hardest part is obviously to lift it. So it's a little bit more than 10 kilograms, which is going to be 11. All Alright, so that is the most troublesome moment because I have to cut it into half and I'm not sure about it. So it's cracking and I feel like it's totally red. After 2 yellow watermelons, I'm pretty much not sure about that. I think that the crack inside is actually what looks like a red July. So the watermelon is really juicy, but I feel like comparing to the one that we had before, which was 9 kilograms 2 years ago, it lacks in a bit of sweetness. So that one was sweeter because the summer was really hot. But it's totally sweet comparing to anything you buy on the market.